The water hit me like a wall of ice. Dark, cold, absolute. I couldn't see, couldn't breathe, couldn't tell which way was up. My hands went to my belly, automatic, desperate. 7 months. My baby girl. She kicked. One strong kick against my palm under 30 feet of frozen river water on New Year's Eve. And that kick was the only reason I didn't let go. I heard them before I saw them, lights cutting through the darkness, divers, moving fast, moving toward me. The first one grabbed my arm. "Ma'am, your father sent us." My father? The FBI director. My name is Claire Calloway, or it was before I became Claire Harmon, before I became Derek's wife, before I became someone I didn't recognize in the mirror. Derek was a corporate lawyer, charming, sharp, the kind of man who walked into a room and owned it immediately. We met at a charity gala 3 years ago. He pursued me relentlessly. Flowers, dinners, weekend trips, all of it perfect, all of it calculated. My father didn't trust him. Richard Calloway had spent 30 years reading people for the FBI, 6 of those years as director. He had interviewed terrorists, dismantled cartels, built federal cases against men who thought they were untouchable. He looked at Derek across a dinner table and said nothing, but I saw his eyes. I married Derek anyway. That was my first mistake. The pregnancy was unplanned. Derek smiled when I told him. It never reached his eyes. New Year's Eve started quietly. Derek had been distant for weeks, cold in a way that felt different from his usual coldness, calculated, final. We had dinner alone, no guests, no celebration, just the 2 of us in our apartment overlooking the Hudson. Fireworks were scheduled for midnight. The city was alive outside our windows. Inside felt like a funeral. I found the phone at 9 p.m. A second phone, cheap, prepaid, hidden inside his gym bag under a false bottom I had never noticed before. The texts were from someone named Natalie. I read 3 messages before my hands started shaking. He was watching me from the doorway. I don't know how long he had been standing there. "You weren't supposed to find that," he said. "Derek," I held the phone up. "Who is Natalie?" His expression didn't change. That was the most terrifying part. No rage, no panic, no guilt, just calculation. He crossed the room in 4 steps, took my wrist, opened the balcony door. The Hudson was 30 feet below, dark, ice forming on the surface, midnight fireworks beginning to crack open the sky. "Derek, please, the baby." "Problem solved," he said, and he threw me over. The water was 32 degrees. I know that now. At the time, all I knew was dark and cold and absolute, and my baby was still moving, and I had to keep moving too. I couldn't swim, not 7 months pregnant with a fractured wrist and 3 broken ribs. I just kicked, kept my head up, kept breathing. 47 seconds. That's how long I was in the water before Agent Torres reached me. He came from underneath, strong hands under my arms, pulling me up, breaking the surface, cold air hitting my face like a slap I was grateful for. "I'm a federal agent, don't fight me, I've got you." I didn't fight. They pulled me onto the ice sheet, thermal blankets, oxygen mask, 2 medics working simultaneously, a voice on a radio saying, "We have her, she's breathing, baby's heartbeat confirmed." Baby's heartbeat confirmed. I closed my eyes. "Ma'am?" Another agent crouched beside me. "Your father sent us. He's been watching your husband for 3 months. We had a team on standby tonight. We got here in time." My father? I hadn't spoken to Richard Calloway in 6 months. Derek had made sure of that. Slow isolation, careful and deliberate, just like everything else he did. But my father had never stopped watching. He had just been watching Derek instead of waiting for my calls. Above me on the bridge, I could see Derek, still standing at the railing, looking down. 2 federal agents were already walking toward him. My father walked into that hospital room at 2 a.m., still in his coat, like he had driven straight from wherever he had been, which he had. He sat beside my bed, said nothing for a long moment, just looked at me, my fractured wrist, my bruised face, the fetal monitor beeping beside me. Then he spoke. I should have moved faster. "Dad," I reached for his hand. "You got here in time." His jaw tightened. 3 months ago, I received intelligence that Derek had taken out a life insurance policy on you, $800,000, doubled to $1.6 million in the event of accidental death. I stared at him. He filed the policy 4 days after you told him you were pregnant. He paused. Claire, he had been planning this since the moment he found out about the baby. The room tilted. There was more. My father pulled out a folder, federal wiretap authorization, 3 months of recordings, Derek's calls, Derek's texts, Derek telling Natalie, his colleague, his affair of 2 years, that the problem would be resolved before the new year. The problem? Me, our daughter, both of us reduced to a problem on a wiretap recording. Derek's firm had also been under investigation for financial fraud. He had stolen from 3 client accounts, nearly $400,000. He needed the life insurance money to cover his tracks before the partners found out. He wasn't just trying to escape our marriage, he was trying to escape a federal fraud conviction. 2 birds, 1 river. I thought about the dinner, the distance, the calculation in his eyes when I held up that phone. He had stood in our kitchen that night, knowing exactly what he was going to do, and he had smiled at me anyway. Derek was arrested on the bridge while I was still on the ice. He didn't resist. I had expected rage, excuses. Instead, he went quiet, like a man doing math in his head. He made bail 2 days later. His mother held a press conference. Immaculate hair, practiced grief. Claire is unstable, she told the cameras. Derek tried to help her. She became confused near the railing. He reached for her. He couldn't hold on. I watched from my hospital bed. I didn't feel rage. I felt tired. My father felt differently. Richard Calloway had spent 30 years building federal cases. He knew exactly what his mother was doing. He also knew how to dismantle it. 3 days after the press conference, my father walked into Derek's lawyer's office, alone, no agents, no briefcase, just himself. I don't know what was said in that room, my father never told me, but Derek's lawyer filed to withdraw the following morning. The federal charges came the next week: attempted murder, financial fraud, wire fraud, obstruction of justice. The wiretap recordings delivered everything. Derek's own voice, his own plan. Problem resolved before the new year. Played in open court. Played for the jury. Derek's face when that recording played was the first honest thing I had seen from him in 3 years. Pure terror. His mother stopped giving press conferences after day 2. By day 4, the jury had heard enough. Guilty. Every count. 35 years. Federal prison. No parole for 20. The judge looked at Derek. You targeted a pregnant woman carrying your own child for financial gain. This court has no mercy for that. Derek said nothing. He looked at me once as they led him out. I didn't look away. Neither did he. But I was the one still standing. Hope was born 6 weeks early, 4 pounds 8 ounces. I already knew she was a fighter. She kicked in 32-degree water to tell me to keep swimming. My father held her first. Richard Calloway, FBI director, the man who dismantled cartels, sat in a hospital chair holding 4 pounds of his granddaughter and didn't speak for 11 minutes. I counted. When he looked up, his eyes were wet. She looks like your mother, he said. That was enough. Derek thought he was throwing away a problem. He was throwing away his freedom. He will be 61 before he sees a parole board. Hope will be 20. She will grow up without knowing his face, without his voice, without the weight of what he tried to do before she was born.
That is not a tragedy. That is the best possible outcome. My name is Claire Calloway again. My daughter's name is Hope. Every morning when she wakes up fighting, which is every morning, I think about 47 seconds in a frozen river, and I am grateful. The water, the darkness, the kick that told me to keep going. She saved me before I saved her. That is what daughters do.